Hello everybody, it's Sabre and I am back with another D&D breakdown. Now, this is the new series that I'm going to break down into subclasses, some races and D&D, etc. to better understand how it all works and how to work it into your game. Of course, the ongoing series I'm doing right now is the Taldore Reborn book. This book came out about this past month. I'm going over all the subclasses in that book and the guys from Friday Night Dice. That's the crew I play with every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Live stream is on my Twitch channel. It's Sabre Gaming with 2 M's. And the VOD is also available on our YouTube channel. And just real quick, before we get into this, some crazy news is that our podcast, that's the audio recordings for our gameplays, has been accepted for sales. So we're moving up in the world. So if you can listen to our podcast, which is powered by Anchor, available on Anchor, on Spotify, and Google Podcast. And also you can go to our website, which is just a WordPress page, but it is as Friday Night Dice, all one word, .wordpress.com. So, with all of that out of the way, we are going to go over the latest subclass, and we're going in right in order that it is in the book. And this is going to be the Way of the Cobalt Soul Monk. Now, if this sounds familiar to you, yes, this is the monk that Marisha played with right below me, Beauregard Lionette. So this is a pretty interesting monk. This is actually one of the monks I was kind of interested in playing. I'm finally glad they've released it to us all. But yeah, so driven by the pursuit of knowledge and its scholars' worship of the knowing mentor, the Library of the Cobalt Soul is one of the best respected and most heavily guarded repositories of tomes, history, and information in all of Alexandria. People from all lands come to the library to seek knowledge, and those particularly dedicated to the virtues of truth offer pledge their minds and bodies to the Cobalt Soul's cause. To become a member of the Cobalt Soul is to give oneself over to a quest dedicated to unveiling life's mysteries, bringing the most powerful and dangerous of truths from those whose unwholesome thirst of knowledge might bring death and suffering to others. God note of worship is Ayun, that is the knowing mistress or knowing mentor. If Ion sounds familiar to you, yeah, this sounds like the Ion stones, the ones that gives a permanent stat boost to whatever you have, as long as you have it on your head. It kind of floats off your head a little bit. So yeah, so this is a bit of an intelligence-based monk. Of course, you're going to want to have your dexterity, of course, with all the unarmed combat and everything else. But this one kind of leans towards intelligence, but all of the key skills are still going to be wisdom base. So you're going to have to diversify your portfolio, so to speak, to cover your combat of dexterity rather, with your intelligence to do some of the stuff in this Cobalt Soul, and have the wisdom to up the modifier to do your for the saving throws that other creatures got to make against you, in order for them to fail. So your effects that you're going to give to them, like stun or whatever, is still going to happen. So this class needs a little bit higher stats in intelligence because it does take advantage of some of the intelligence aspects there. So first of all, we have our third level skill as Extract Aspects. When you hit a creature with one of the attacks granted by your flurry of blows, you can analyze the creature. When you analyze the creature, you learn its damage vulnerabilities, damage resistances, damage immunities, and condition immunities. Whenever an analyzed creature misses you with an attack, you can immediately use your reaction to make an unarmed strike against that creature if it's within your reach. This benefit lasts until you finish a short or long rest. So what does that all mean? Well, so when you grant a Flurry of Blows is a bonus action. So as part of your bonus action, when you make an unarmed attack, you are able to learn some of the vulnerabilities or strengths of the target that you're hitting. which can come in handy for those wondering. This is kind of like the scan ability from maybe Final Fantasy, something like that, where you're trying to learn about stuff about the creature you're hitting. And also a little nice thing is like kind of like a opportunity attack almost. You still have to use your reaction for that to do that. Burning reactions on a monk, you still have the ability to like grab like missiles being shot at you, because I believe that takes a reaction for that. So it does burn that, but if you look down the line a little bit later, you're able to get your reactions back, and I'll get to that in a little bit here. At 6th level, we have Extort Truth. You can precisely strike a hidden cluster of nerves on a creature, temporarily preventing it from masking its true thoughts and intent. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can spend 1 key point to force it to make a charisma saving throw. Now, again, going back to the charisma saving throw, this is based off your key saves. That is 8 plus your proficiency modifier plus your wisdom modifier, I believe. So it is. So again, even though a lot of stuff that you're doing with this is intelligence based, you're still a DC 8 proficiency bonus plus your wisdom modifier. Not your intelligence modifier, your wisdom modifier. Maybe you want to talk to your DM to maybe switch that, because this is an intelligence based monk, not a wisdom based monk. You might want to talk to your DM about that and see if they want to adjust that. But for those intents and purposes, this is going to be wisdom base, which is going to be what's core key is supposed to be. On a failed save, the creature is unable to speak a deliberate lie. All right, I didn't spell check there. Speak a deliberate lie, and all charisma checks versus the creature are made with advantage for up to 10 minutes. So this is, by the way, both you and the creature are aware of the effects and know if the save was successful or not. And the creature can be evasive so long as the answer given is not a lie. Or they can just remain silent and not say anything at all. You do have the option to choose to cause no damage to the creature with the unarmed strike. So in other words, you can make the unarmed strike. You can choose whether to do or not to do any damage to the target when you do it. Maybe if you're interrogating a shopkeep, most of your NPC non-combative characters only have like 1, 2, 3 hit points. So if you punch them to try to get some information out of them, probably want to do any damage, because your modifier would just kill these targets. So he does give you the option not to do any damage, which is kind of nice. Now, going back to this, so the 10 minutes, this is like a zone of truth, but better, because not only is this only target the creature you're targeting, because zone of truth targets everybody in the radius. So even if you cast this, you yourself, if you have to pass or fail the charisma check yourself, or wisdom check, or whatever it is. So, but this is only to that one target, so you don't have to speak the truth with the target either, and it lasts for 10 minutes, and your charisma checks are made at advantage. So if you try to intimidate this creature, you get advantage on that roll. This is really powerful for not really just RP wise. This is really powerful for advancing your story on trying to get information from the enemy. So this is actually a pretty decent skill. 1 key point. It's not that bad. So yeah, this is pretty useful. Also at level 6, you also get Mystical Erudition. You learn 1 language of your choice. You also gain a proficiency with one of the following skills of your choice: Arcana, History, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. Again, intelligence based. This is where the intelligence base, like I've been talking about, comes in, because you're dealing with proficiencies that you're getting from this subclass that are dealing with intelligence. So it's nice that you're going to get your proficiency modifier added in there, but it would be nice that if you are going to be the person of Arcana or History or Investigation of your group, you might want to invest some points in the base value of your intelligence to really make that worth the while. Now, if you already have proficiency in one of these skills, you may choose to double the proficiency for one of these instead, basically expertise. So you can choose instead that if you already have proficiency in investigation, you can choose at level 6 to gain expertise basically in that investigation skill. So basically you go from a +2 to a +4, or +3 to a +6. And if you invest, say, 2 points in, say, intelligence, so you have a modifier, I believe that was it 14? So you have a 14 intelligence plus 2 modifier plus 6 when you get there for the expertise almost. That's plus 8 to investigation, which is pretty good. You also, by the way, you get this again at levels 11 and 17. So once you reach level 11, at level 17, you get another language and another proficiency, which again, you can double the proficiency of one of the above skills again. No, you can't triple it. So again, there is a limit. So if you say you at level 6, you want to take Arcana, and at level 11, you can gain expertise in Arcana, like 5 levels later. And you can gain the language. So first language, you get Dragon, or Draconic rather. And the next one you get you can get Abyssal for your next one. So again, this is creating a great toolbox person or character in the group to be able to do other things than just fight. And because you're the monk, monks do cap out a little bit with the amount of damage they can do. They kind of level off late campaign, you could say. But there are some other tin tricks in this subclass that makes it still pretty darn strong later on in the game. Level 11, this is very, very short, is a Mind of Mercury. Once per turn, if you already taken your reaction, you may spend 1 key point to take an additional reaction. You can only use 1 reaction per triggering effect. Okay, so if there's multiple effects happening you have to roll multiple reactions, you have to spend multiple key points in order to get those additional reactions. Okay, so just get that out of the way. So now we go back all the way back to level 3 here, where we have extract aspects, where you can use your reaction to make an unarmed strike against a creature within your reach. Now, with this skill at level 11, Mind of Mercury, you get your reaction back as long as you have the key points to do it. So this gives you more ability to use your key points for other things than just stun. Well, almost all monks were doing basically is they're just stun bots. And again, because again at level 11, you also get the additional language, and you get the additional proficiency or double proficiency at the same level. So a lot going on there. The next level up is level 17, which again, going back to Mystical Erudition, you get another language, another proficiency, a double proficiency. And on top of that, you also get Debilitating Barrage. Now, this is going to keep you a little more relevant later game. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can spend 3 key points to cause the creature to gain a vulnerability to one type of damage of your choice for 1 minute, or until the end of the turn in which is taken the damage of that type. So say I hit something, it does fire damage to this thing. Then your wizard comes up next and casts Fireball, which is fire damage. That creature now has vulnerability, so it takes extra damage from that attack, and does allow you to cause it to end after that Fireball effect would happen. I'm not sure why you would want to have that. I would just do it for the full minute regardless. So yes, you have 2 people in your party that have Fireball. You have a sorcerer that twins Fireball. It's going to have vulnerability to both of those Fireballs. Now, if a creature has resistance to the damage of the chosen type, this resistance is suppressed for 1 minute rather than gaining the vulnerability. So this is like the whole disadvantage thing. If you already have, if the target already has advantage and you're causing it to have disadvantages, it's just like a straight roll. So basically, if it has resistance to the damage, which means it takes half damage, it's just going to take regular damage. If the creature is immune to the damage chosen, it's unaffected. So in other words, you're casting Fireball at a fire creature that might be immune to fire damage. Debilitating Barrage is not going to make it have vulnerability or regular damage. It's still going to be immune to that damage. There's a reason why it's immune to damage, because it is, in fact, fire. So it's not going to do anything. A creature who is affected by this feature cannot be affected by it again for 24 hours. Okay. So if the creature runs off after this happens, and you catch them up with them maybe that evening or afternoon, when you did it this morning, and you catch them at the bar, you're not going to be able to do this again the same day. You have to wait till the next day to use it again. Keeping them more relevant at later levels. Yes, this will help with that. It does cost a little. It's a little expensive at 3 key points, but this is late game. We're talking level 17 here, so you're gonna have a lot of key points to spend. But one of the vulnerabilities you can choose, it's any type of damage. You can use bludgeoning. So you can, on your very first hit of unarmed strike, you can make this creature vulnerable to bludgeoning, which means all your bludgeoning damage is going to do extra damage. And monks can hit for 2, 3, 4. One monk was hitting 5 times in a round. If you remember my barbarian monk, he was hitting 5 times in the same round at level, I think it was level 6 or 7. So, and that was slashing damage. So you would just be slash damage, not bludgeoning, right? But the same thing. Same thing applies. You can cause vulnerability to all that slashing damage. That's a lot of damage, and that's coming from the monk, which makes them more relevant. So this build, as a whole, this Cobalt Soul Monk, is great. You get proficiencies in languages, kind of like a bard or artificer or something like that. You are able to do combat things. You can cause extra damage for things in late game. You can understand and break down extra information that are not really given by any other means of some of the subclasses. Maybe there's a bard where you can there's a paladin or fighter one where if you're chatting with them at the bar, you can understand some of those facts about them. But these facts are combat stat facts. So overall on this build, I really, really like the way the Cobalt Soul. It is different. It's knowledge based, but again, like I said, with the extra dip and the information from the mystical erudition, you're gonna have to be a little bit of a higher roller on multiple stats to get the dexterity and wisdom. You want to have some constitution because you're going to be in melee combat, and you want to have some point dip into intelligence because all these choices right here are all intelligence-based choices. So you do want to have a dip into intelligence. That is the one little thing that you might want to think about. Maybe you could have a conversation with your DM to have the key based off intelligence instead of wisdom to mitigate that factor. But that it would be a homebrew thing and up to you guys. But right for rules written, it is still wisdom based for the saving throws, right? Well, that'll do it for this edition. Again, this is from the Tadori Reborn book. I'll be doing the next one. The next one down the line will be the Oath of the Open Sea. Now, that was Travis Willingham's Ford's subclass. So we're getting into the Campaign 2 stuff. Once again, I am Sabre Wolf. Thank you, and have a good day.